Hi guys, my name is Lemmy and I'm the artist behind the YouTube channel Lemia Crescent. Today I will be showing you how I mix a warm brown hair color using Sakura Koi coloring brush pens. I do this in 3 simple steps: base color, shadows, and highlights. We will be using a watercolor painting technique that we learned in the previous skin tutorial video, and also be coloring straight onto the picture with the markers themselves. Other supplies you need but are not limited to would be water and a brush, or you can use the Sakura Koi Blender pen, a paper towel for mistakes, and a scrap of paper or plastic to act as our painting palette. This image was lined with a black Pigma Micron pen. Now let's quickly go over colors. The color I used for a base coat, which would also be the primary color used in the hair, is woody brown. For the highlights in the hair, I used Naples yellow. Finally, for the shadows in this picture, I used a combination of brown and dark brown. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to begin by using our base color, the woody brown. I apply the marker to our scrap piece of paper, take a brush with water, and paint the color onto the picture. Using the water to dilute the pigment from the pen, you get a paler version of the pen color. When I paint the base coat, I leave some white sections roughly where the shines of the hair will go. This helps me plan the shadow areas and highlighted areas for the next 2 steps. After applying this base coat, I then take the Naples yellow and in the same fashion, apply it to the white areas we planned out before. I used a yellow as opposed to leaving it white to add warmth to the hair color. Now we're going to use the 2 previous brush pens directly on the paper. Make sure that the previous layers have thoroughly dried. We do not want the colors to move or to bleed. We want the colors to retain the shape that we put them down in. We are going to color very lightly and feather strands of hair in a flicking motion. Make sure you flick in the direction that the hair is shaped in to create more realistic looking hair strands. I left the underpainted layers showing through on purpose to give it a softer shine to the hair. So at this point, she mostly looks blonde. The blondish color will help make the brown color we add for the shadows even warmer. This is the step where we transform her from a blonde to a brunette. As I mentioned, our light source in this picture is coming from above, so our shadows will be below. Where I will be placing the shadow will coincide with where I have drawn my line art. Be sure that the previous colors have dried before we take our pens to the picture again. To give the bangs a more rounded look, I will be placing the shadows toward the bottom edge. I will also be placing shadows behind the ears, neck, and back area. You will notice that I use 2 separate colors in the shadows. This is to help place certain parts of her hair further back. I used the lighter of the 2 colors, which is the dark brown, very liberally with larger shadowed areas. Be sure to leave areas free of shadow so that the undercoat can shine through. After all the planning is laid down, I go in with my brush and soften some of the edges of the picture with water. This helps blend the colors and make it look much less harsh. After drying, I then use the brown marker, which is the darker of the 2 shadow colors that I picked, for the area right behind her neck to place that hair the furthest behind the girl. I also use the same color for other areas that I would like to place into shadow. I use the darker of the 2 shadow colors more conservatively, still leaving those blank spots, and afterward blending them out as needed. One pro tip I have for you guys is to use a classic Sakura jelly roll in brown, which is number 12, and burgundy, which is number 22. Burgundy is the darker of the 2. And what I do is I add rogue strands of hair to the larger sections of hair. Little details like this can really bring together your picture. And we're all done. Stay tuned for my next video in this series where I show you guys how I color eyes using the Koi coloring brush pens. See you then. Bye.